We are live. We're, as usual, live a couple of minutes early so that we can get onto our other phones and share the link to people so they can join us. So we won't start for a couple of minutes with the advice over there on that whiteboard. So bear with us. If you're watching this later, then probably skip through the first 2 minutes or so, because it'll be this boring, us wandering around doing nothing time. But it's going to get interesting. Mark my words. Some water. Okay, have you finished sharing it?
For some reason I can't.
Oh, we have two people on. Hi, second person. We are able to see each other thanks to James Clerk Maxwell's equations. If you don't know what they are, there's some homework for you. I think it's Gauss, Faraday, and Ampere. These four laws here, and he put them together to formulate the theory of electromagnetic spectrum. Anyway, kitty cat,
Yeah.
come and hold the camera for me.
Yeah, coming.
Starting the lecture now. What we're going to do is the first couple of minutes I'll just talk to you about muscle balance, and then we'll actually do the workout with kitty cat as the model.
All right, we'll turn you around.
Turn me around. Okay, this way please.
Mm-hmm.
So the words represent what we're going to do today, but I wanted to talk to you about this little triangle. You may have seen me talk about this in previous videos. This is a rough picture of a basic tent, but we can also think of it as being like a joint in the body. So, excuse me, what we've done is we've set up our tent, and the central pole is nice and vertical to provide the strongest sort of support that we can give. And on either side, and in fact probably all the way around the tent, we have ropes which are dug into the ground, and they obviously need to be matching each other in the ability to oppose each other, the tension that they have, and usually they're about the same length, or at least they're the proper length for what they're meant to be. And this is like your muscles across a joint, like the bicep versus the tricep, or the chest versus the upper back, okay? Now what would happen if we were to shorten the muscles on one side of the joint, okay? So what would happen if we went to this tent and we deliberately tightened the ropes on this side? So they, instead of being their normal 1 unit long, they are now half a unit long, for example. Well, obviously that tension through the tent fabric, i.e. the fascia of the body and the muscles and the fascia of the joint, that's going to be pulling that central pole over to one side. So now our joint is out of balance. But that tension doesn't stop there. It goes all the way to the other side, so the opposing muscle group, and that one, as you probably worked out, gets stretched longer than it should be. And it's not long and loose, it's long and tight. And it's longer than it should be, and it's tighter than it should be. So suddenly we have this bad feedback going over the joint where one of the muscles is going, holy smokes, I'm being tortured, I'm being lifted, you know, like a medieval torture victim on a rack, okay? So I obviously can't operate efficiently if I'm being tortured like that. So this one is going to start screaming out to us, and that's where we're going to feel the pain. And if I've got pain at the back of my neck, that's usually one of these guys, okay? Now, like I said, I think yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, losing track of all these videos, it's usually the victim who cries out, not the criminal. And what we usually want to do when we're in pain is stretch. And we say, oh God, I've got to stretch my hamstrings, I've got to stretch my upper back, I've got so much pain in my shoulder blades, I've got pain in my neck, I need a stretch. And we usually target the area that we're feeling. which is a problem, right? Because it's already too long. It's being pulled along by this overactivation on the other side of the joint. So what we should try and do is find out where's the criminal who's applying that pressure to the victim. Where's the short, tight muscle group, which is creating the long, tight muscle group, okay? So that's what we're going to do today. We've got one massage for our sternocleidomastoid, okay? That's this muscle up the side of the neck here. We've got one stretch for the chest, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 exercises in our workout. So I'll take the camera now, and I'm going to be filming Kitty Cat do her first one, which is the sternocleidomastoid. Bing, bing, that one there. I should also apologise for how tired I look. Kitty Cat looks fine, but we were kept up by this crazy drunk guy that we live with, this redhead called Neil. He's got 4 legs and a stumpy tail, and now he's asleep, and he didn't let us sleep all night. So anyway, here's Cat turning her head to the side to grab the sternocleidomastoid. Can you take your hand away for a second? Okay, so see down the bottom, it's quite a guitar string, and you probably can see that as it goes up, it gets wider and wider and wider. Now its job is it joins the clavicle, that's the cleido part of the name, and the sternum. It joins them to the mastoid process. You can feel there's a bump behind your ear. Now put your head back in the center, Kitty Cat. Okay, at the moment, this point at the bottom and this point at the top are a long way from each other. But if I was to shorten that muscle, if I was to contract that muscle, it would turn the head. It would bring that mastoid process closer to that point there. So that's the reason why she's turned her head, to make the muscle stand up and become easier to find. So we're going to grab it down the bottom where it feels like a guitar string, and we're going to grab onto it and not move too much, just hold it, and we're going to hold it for, let's say, 3 breaths. Okay? Breathe in and breathe out. And you should have grabbed quite a fair bit like Kitty Cat has. It should feel like not loose skin, but like you've grabbed your thumb, like there's a long thumb inside your neck. One more breath there, and then we'll go from the bottom of the muscle to the middle of the muscle. Please join in with this. Okay, so moving up now, turn your head to the side again so we can find the muscle easier. Grab onto it. That's it. Once you've found it, then you want to be squeezing about as firm as what you think a physio or a doctor or a professional massage therapist would be doing, someone that knows what they're doing. If you're feeling pain when you do this, just back the pressure off a little bit. Okay. About 3 breaths, 3 to 5 breaths at the bottom, the middle, and the top. So I think we've done 3 in the middle there. Now we go right to the top. Now it's the top end of the letter V here, right? It's quite wide, so you need to spread your thumb out to the back, right around to near where the hairline is to grab this here. And this is where you may feel the most referral pain, maybe up around the arch of the eye or the side of the head. You may get some referral pain there. Think of that as time travel. This is the level of headache you can expect if you leave this untreated. If you keep putting pressure into this muscle and never releasing it. Hey, Alexandra Mitchell. Okay, done that side. Now we go to the other side. So turn your head to the side so the muscle will contract, make it easier to find. If you're good at doing this, you don't need to turn your head. We only turn our head to the side to contract the muscle, to make it hard and rigid so it's easier for us to find. Now, why are we massaging this muscle? Okay, we're massaging this muscle. I'll just turn the camera around for a moment and show you on my neck. Okay, so sternocleidomastoid gets short and tight if we do this. All right? Or if sternocleidomastoid is tight, then we get pulled into this position. You can see the back of my neck gets squashed kind of short and tight in that position, right? So I'm on the computer, I'm watching Netflix, I'm driving a car, I'm reading a book, I'm doing something, and my head is always out here, and I've brought that mastoid process close to the sternum. And so this muscle gets trained to be short, tight all the time. Okay, we'll go back to Kitty, should be almost finished now. So this point here gets pulled down close to the chest all the time, and all the bones of the neck get squashed. So after doing this side, you've done both sides now, you should feel a fair bit of, like if you turn your head left and right, you might feel a little bit less pressure, a little bit more like lubrication inside the neck. Okay, that's our first one. That's our self-myofascial release for the sternocleidomastoid, and our Latin lesson finished for the day. Number 2, static stretch. Okay, we're doing a static stretch because if you hold a stretch for 20 seconds, you will basically inject anesthetic into that muscle for up to 2 hours. Now, the chest is one of these areas where if I go side on to kitty cat, can you put your arm down and just go into a slouch for me? Okay, so what happens in our slouch is that we have where the chest inserts into the arm and where it begins in the middle of the chest, that distance has become short. Okay, so this is our short tight rope in the tent, and these guys are our long tight ropes. And so what we're going to try and do is bring the position of that shoulder back. So you're standing next to the wall, you're going to put one hand palm against the wall as high as you're able to go without being too straight in the arm. And then from there, I want you to step forwards with the wall side leg. Now, keep that back heel on the ground. That's it. Push the heel into the ground. Try to make sure your foot is not turned out if possible. Try to make sure that back foot is forwards or turned in. Keep that knee nice and straight. Through the abdominals, draw the stomach in a little bit. As if you have a tail, like a cat or a dog, tuck your tail between your legs, but keep the knee straight as you do it. That's it. Push that heel down into the ground. Okay, so now what we should have is this beautiful stretch on the chest and shoulder on that wall side, but like a human walks with opposite arm and leg action. So now we're getting a stretch from that left hand down through the chest, across the abdominal wall, through that opposite side hip, and down into that calf. So potentially, you might feel a stretch in that calf, in that hip, and in that chest and shoulder, which is a fantastic thing to do. And with all my talking, I've left kitty cat there for 3 years. We could go ahead and change sides. Perfect. So stand side onto the wall, put your arm up, and then we want to step forwards. Keep the back leg heel down. Make sure your foot is not turned out, like you can see kitty cat's foot is turned out. Unless you get knee pain. Okay, if turning your foot straight or turning your foot internally rotated gives you a pain in the knee, then don't do it. But heel down, knee straight, tuck your tail between your legs, keeping your abs gently drawn in, and then you should feel at least a stretch on the wall side, shoulder and chest, and potentially out into the arm a little bit there. Some of you with very tight thoracic outlets, because you've got your palm against the wall, you might be feeling a bit of numbness or tingling in that hand. If it's like that, do what Kitty just did and turn the arm to face forwards, so you don't get too much tingling, because then we're not sure if you're going to be impinging on a nerve. Okay, so there we've done our massage for the neck. Okay, we turned off the handbrake in the neck, and then we turned off the handbrake in the shoulder with a bit of a stretch. So we should be able to move now. Ready for some activation. We're going to do our exercise number 1, which is leaning against the wall. Okay. Hey, can you guys tell me, if I turn the camera this way, is that okay for you? Rotate your device. You can't turn your phone while live. Okay, I won't do that. Damn it. Next time we do a live one, I won't start with the phone like this. All right, so from here, we've got kitty cat with her heels against the wall and her bum and her shoulders and her head against the wall. Don't worry about the hair.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
that person I live with the long hair. I'll talk to her later about it. All right, now
Plumbing.
we're going to step your feet maybe 10 centimeters or half the length of one of your feet away from the wall. Okay? That is quite generous. You don't need to go that far. Okay? If your neck at the end of this exercise feels like it's worked too hard, then change that distance and make it shorter. Okay, next thing we want to do, we've done the feet. Okay, so get your feet where they feel comfortable. Adjust them later if you need to. Take your bottom off the wall and take your shoulders off the wall a little bit as well. All right, so we can see there that her ponytail is hanging unobstructed. Now, kitty cat, can you just tuck your chin a tiny bit for us? That's it, beautiful. Inside her mouth, she's got her teeth gently together and her tongue touching the roof, gently together, and tongue touching the roof of the mouth, all right? If you don't know what that means, just go ahead and swallow one time and you'll feel the tongue go block up against the top of the mouth. That's giving you nice pressure down the front of the spine. Because what we're doing here is we're activating these front spinal muscles inside the neck, because they come all the way from the pelvic floor, all the way up the front of the spine, the anterior spinal muscles. And this is the end of the chain is the tongue. Now we've held this for a couple of breaths, so we're going to relax now. Okay, we only want to be doing, there he is. There's the terrorist that kept us up all night. Damn you, drunken redhead running around the house and meowing. So innocent. Now he's just like, look at me, I'm cute. Okay, that's good. There's our first set. We've done the wall lean. Now join us for quadruped. That means getting down on all fours, arm circles. Okay, so put some knee padding down if you need to. Hop into all fours. And then what we're going to try and do is, looking at the floor all the time, just take one arm to as high as you can go in a circle like a windmill. Okay, now kitty cat just went above the line of her body. If you're a person that gets hurt by doing that, show us one that is lower than the body, kitty cat. So lifted it to the height of the body and went backwards and around and back. Okay, if that hurts you, do it even lower, just like you're polishing the floor. No, keep your hand down, honey. Just like imagine you've got a rag underneath your hand. Just polish the floor out in a big angel wing for me. Now go out wide, do a big, nice, long, that's it. Beautiful, but it's lower than the body. There you go, like that. But if you can, do the high ones. So let's go for 3 more high ones. 1. Nice. And when you're doing this, you do not want to have your neck activating and pulling up towards the ear. Can you show us the wrong shoulder position? Like hunch your shoulders up for me. Yeah. If you're going there when you're moving your arm, then this one's too hard for you. Go to a lower level. Okay? All right. 1 more of these, and then we're going to change arms. Off you go. Left arm. 1. Do it slow enough that you're keeping your shoulder blades pulled back. Okay, what we've got here is shoulder blades and muscles joining them, and there's basically 3 ways these muscles go in a very surface. Well, you can keep moving if you like. We've got the upper trapezius, we've got the middle trapezius, and we've got the lower trapezius. Imagine there's a V of muscle just here. Keep both shoulder blades gently pulled down. So I'm trying to put my left shoulder blade into my right hip pocket, and I'm trying to pull my right shoulder blade into my left hip pocket. But not as if my life depends on it, just gently, okay? Just activate down. Beautiful. So there's 5 on either side. Now we're going to exercise number 3, which is our standing windmill. So imagine, I'll do this one. Oh, beautiful, I'm the model. I want you to imagine that, like a scarecrow, your arms are joined by a piece of wood. Only this wood, this stick, is not suitable for what I want to do, because I want my arms out really, really long. But you can imagine if I was turning, the arms would have to stay on that same plane. That's what I want with this exercise, okay? Because what we don't want is the body to stay still and the arms to flap like bird wings. This exercise is actually turning the body, turning the body, turning the body, okay, and the arms happen to follow, not the arms are initiating movement. And I'm keeping looking at you because what I want is to stretch my neck from the bottom up, okay? So instead of doing a neck stretch where I turn the head and keep the body still, I'm turning the body and keeping the neck still. So it's much safer because I'm not moving the heavy thing that's at the top of the chain. I'm moving something underneath that, and it feels much smoother. So I'm keeping my shoulders gently pulled together, and if I want to make it even more advanced, I'll turn those palms face up. And the side view, I'm trying not to be forwards. Now, what if my shoulders hurt too much and I can't hold my arms up? Then put them down lower, okay? And just drawing the shoulder blades back together and then rotating, keeping on looking forwards. So I'm pulling my shoulder back and then coming to the front again. If you want to make this harder, when we go through the second set, I'll show you the bent over version. But this is just a super good spinal rotation exercise, pulling the shoulder blades together. Perfect. And the last one, we've got kitty cat doing the single arm overhead reach.
Okay.
Come back and do that for us. Okay, so she's standing and she's simply going to imagine there's something behind. She's going to try and touch that clock with her right arm behind her. So reaching up and back, touching the board, nice, and then come back. Awesome. Reaching up, touching behind you, and coming back. And I'm going to get her to turn side on now and show us what it looks like from the side. So she's turning and reaching backwards Okay, can you show us an advanced version if they want a bit more abdominals working, that you'd lean back ever so slightly? Oh, nice one. So as her head came off her feet, look where the feet are, look where the head is now. She's leant backwards. Those abs have to engage to stop you from falling over.
Next one with the foot stepping back.
Oh yeah, okay, so now the next advanced version is right hand reaching back, left foot stepping back. Perfect. Now why is that good? For the same reason that our chest stretch had one arm on the wall and the opposite leg backwards. Can you turn to the front for us, kitty cat, and then we'll have a look. When we walk as a bipedal, as a human, we have right arm and left leg working together, and then left arm and right leg working together, right? So we've spent millions of years doing that. So when she takes her right arm backwards, there's a muscular line, an elastic muscular line across the body that she's activating. Imagine what happens to an elastic band when you stretch it. Okay, if you're just holding an elastic band, like a rubber band in your hands, nobody in the room is scared. But as soon as you stretch that and point it at someone, they can feel the energy in that rubber band, right? So the same with your muscles. When you stretch those long muscular lines that go from left hand to right foot, they get filled full of energy and you actually get an ab workout that's not doing bad things to your neck. How many more thousand have you got to go?
One more.
One more thousand? Okay, beautiful.
Do I keep my head looking forward or do I reach?
Both are going to be good in this because it's not putting strain on the neck.
I suppose if you look forward, you get a neck stretch.
Keeping the head forwards like that is going to give you more of that bottom up neck stretch. Okay, let's go back to the start and watch Kitty Cat go through the whole thing without stopping. She's going to go 5 reps of each. So that means wall lean. What's 5 repetitions look like? Means 5 breaths.
Okay.
Okay, so onto the wall, Kitty Cat, and get your position that feels right for your level of out of focus camera. There we go. All right. Ah, good. Amber Long. This helps my fitness. Thanks very much for saying that. We need that feedback. Okay, here's set 1. Feet away from the wall, bottom and shoulders away from the wall. 5 deep breaths. Trying to get your fingertips as long away from the body as you can, touching the floor with your fingertips if you can, and getting the top of your head to touch the ceiling if you can. Beautiful. Nice one. I will have to turn this camera around now and put it here because we are getting a little low on the old battery. Okay, what's next, Kitty Cat?
Back stretch.
Pec stretch. No, we've done that one. Quadruped arm circles.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Quadruped arm circles.
Okay guys, here we go. Sorry, I'm supposed to keep looking down.
How did my battery get down so low? Oh, I know. It's because I'm a complete amateur and I don't normally do Facebook Live videos. That's how. Haha, but we've plugged it in. Fantastic. Yes, that's the sound of it.
Okay.
Beautiful. There's 5 in each arm. And then our next one is
Windmill.
the standing windmill. Okay, so arms out.
Tilt it a little higher.
Okay, there we go. Okay, arms out, palms up, and rotating as far as you can, keeping the shoulder blades gently pulled together and keeping the shoulders pulled away from the neck. Make sure you're not hunching your shoulders up like a cold pigeon, all right? Can you show us the advanced version where you bend over? That's it. Beautiful. Now, if that hurts you, then don't do it. Stand back up tall. But if you want extra work through the bum and hamstrings and lower back, that's going to help. And so we're going for 5 on each side of that.
Yeah.
We've done that. And now our single arm overhead reach. Reaching back, leaning back a bit if you can. Beautiful. And if you want, opposite foot steps back as well. Boom. So if it's your left arm, you step back on the right foot. If it's your right arm, you step back on the left foot. Okay, like a backwards bipedal movement. Excellent work. Okay. How many have we got to go? Is that it?
Yeah.
That's it. Beautiful. Now, we're going to talk about the last thing on the board there, which I wish I had. Do we have any of the chargeable batteries?
No.
Not charged.
Not I can find a right way.
We suck at this.
Sorry.
Okay, so the last thing I had written on the board over there is a big word in red saying avoid. Now, I'm not telling you not to do stuff, but I want to talk about what's going to hurt your neck, what's going to hurt your shoulders. You're locked at home and you want to do fitness. And so there's lots of things going on like, you know, how many push-ups can you do, or let's do some abs, let's do some crunches. And what we want to be aware of is that there's the tent that I drew at the beginning, the short muscles on one side and the long muscles on the other side. A lot of our workouts tend to strengthen the muscles which are already too short. So if you look at my posture, I work on a keyboard, my shoulders are already forward, okay? Therefore, you can see my t-shirt's got crinkles in it because that's what's happening to the muscles and the fascia underneath, okay? The chest muscle goes from the center out to the arm. It should be that long, normally. And when I sit at my computer, it's this long. So all my life, I'm training that muscle group to be short, tight. Okay, so then I go and do push-ups. Strengthen the chest, strengthen the chest, strengthen the chest, strengthen the chest. Guess who's suffering? The upper back muscles, okay? What else do? I sit at the keyboard, my arms are bent and I'm typing. What else do I want to do in the gym or in my workout? I want to grab some dumbbells and do some bicep curls. Again, I'm trying to shorten a muscle which has already been over-tightened and over-shortened. And then I want to do some ab work. Oh yeah, I want to do that ab work. I want to lie on my back and do my crunches. But look at my posture. When I'm at my keyboard or watching Netflix, I'm already here like this. Okay, I'm already bringing the front of the ribcage and the front of the pelvis together. And then I go into the gym and I do more of these, I do more of these, I do more of these, and I walk out like this, feeling fantastic, but not actually having done anything really good for the body. So we want to try and be, oh, and the other thing is planks. If you're doing a 1 minute plank, I'd highly urge you to stop doing 1 minute planks. Moving planks are much better. Crawling like a lizard, doing it like we did in a previous workout with our breath involved. Here's what my plank looks like, okay? So from there, I breathe in, I breathe out, okay? I breathe in and rest again. Because these deep abdominal stabilizers don't have the ability to stay switched on for more than, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds. So if you're holding it for a whole minute, you're working longer than the activation threshold of those muscles. They're going to turn off. And if your deep stabilizing muscles in the abs turn off, something else has to do the job. And you're training other muscles to do the job. And it's not promoting healthy movement or good movement. And it's also putting you in a position where you're activating, again, those muscles at the front of the chest. And you may be also not concentrating and dropping your head, which we don't want either. So if you can, avoid your plank, avoid your abdominal crunch, avoid your bicep curls, and avoid your push-ups if you're a neck person, if you're a neck and shoulder pain person. If you want to do them, no problem, but balance them. So if I'm doing my elbow flexion, if I'm doing bicep curls, then I want to be doing something that's pushing. I want to be getting the triceps to work. Push, push, push. Whether that's pushing yourself up out of a chair or, you know, push-ups do work then. But if you're doing push-ups, then we've got this problem. So we want to be doing something like a Superman, where we're either kneeling and doing the back muscles, or where we're lying down and doing the back muscles as well. Okay? But anytime I do that kind of exercise, I am, again, potentially working the neck more than I want. So, if you're a neck and shoulder person, I would be simply avoiding, at the moment, push-ups, crunches, and planks, and bicep curls. Unless you've got a trainer or a physio, someone who is qualified and trained to guide you to balance your program. I think that's about all we've got to say today. Anything else, kitty cat? That's all? Neil, anything else?
So what we'll do is today we did the very simple...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll do part 2.
Come into the camera and tell them that.
Hi guys. Hey, so... Oh, hi Ryan.
G'day Ryan.
Hey.
Thanks mate.
So what we've done today is just like 2 simple stretches and 4 simple activation for the back muscles, just to balance it out and even it out. So these are really simple stuff, and this will be part 1. There's a lot more that we can do for this same objective, and we will actually do it next week while you guys practice this for a whole week. So give you guys a bit of homework, and hopefully you keep up to the program.
And what I'm going to go and do now, after each one of these videos, I put together an infographic and I publish it on Simply Fitness and on my personal account, and we put it on Instagram as well. So there'll be one simple printable workout sheet of what we just did today with all the relevant advice. All right. So look out for that. And I'm a bit of a dinosaur. It takes me an hour or two to get it done, but keep your eyes out for that, and feel free to share it far and wide for anyone you know that has neck or shoulder problems.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, just post it here and we'll answer all of your questions. Yeah, feel free to ask. We're here.
Awesome. Love you guys. Have a great day, and hopefully see you soon.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.